Welcome back to Indecisive Cinema. This is episode 45.
Oh yeah, that's right. 45.
We've been recording this thing for 13 years now or something. I don't know when we
Yeah.
recorded the first one, but
Oh my God, I'm trying to think. Yeah. It was 2015 actually. I
it's
think
almost 11 years then.
it was
Off and on,
yeah,
dramatically off and on for sure.
the first one was 2015. Yeah.
And
Shit.
as anybody that's watching this may tell, we are doing this over Zoom, so there's going to be some technical challenges with that. But hopefully the audio sounds clear enough throughout this, and that's the goal, at least for the audio to sound good. And video, I mean, you can see our smiling faces, but it's not the highest quality, but it's better than nothing. And we thought this was a good way to be able to do this more regularly, as opposed to trying to set stuff up at one of our houses or an office space or somewhere else. Is just like, this is just way easier. So as much as it's a little limited from a bandwidth perspective, it's better than nothing. So glad to be back. And today we're talking about our top 10 films of 2025. So it's been three or so years since we Carlos is frozen off and on there.
Yeah.
I love the technical. Tell me, what have you been up to for the past 3 years? Tell the good people, whoever's listening to this.
Yeah, so whoever's listening, I'm still at the same place working for the Methodist hospitals. I'm not empty nester yet, but my oldest daughter moved out and she lives with her fiance, and my younger daughter is now in the workforce. She's graduated. So now it's just me, Rhonda, and JC. So I've been seeing a lot more movies lately. I remember all the time you say, "Oh, did you see this movie?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, no, the kids didn't want to see that." But now it's like me and Rhonda go once a month. We spend the whole day at the theater and we watch all the movies for that month. And so now I've seen every single film that's been nominated, at least for a couple. But yeah.
That's awesome. And it gives us more to talk about. So I'm always
I know,
happy
right?
about that. And you get to enjoy movies more. So
Amen. Yeah. Yeah.
I've just been, we've moved 7 times since then. I don't even know how many times we've moved. I think it's once every year or two since 2017. I mean, it's just been,
you've moved about 3 times.
Absurd. Marissa and I, and we're finally, oh my God, I got something in my eye here.
Oh, cat hair. Damn.
Yeah, she took a job in Kima, so we're 10 minents from Carlos, which is nice, down in the NASA League City. We're in Kima, but in that general area. And we're about to move again in 4 months because this place kind of sucks.
I forgot. Yeah.
I don't know how much. I don't know if you've heard the updates on that, but it's
I was about to say, where are you going?
That much, but we're gonna rent a house somewhere nearby, hopefully, and that'll just give us just some privacy. And we're hoping to buy at some point soon, but for now we're just gonna move into a house somewhere, hopefully in the area. We like Kima a lot, so somewhere around here, and then we'll see where we go from there. But it's been good though. We've moved a lot, but we're starting to settle in. I'm still doing video stuff and kind of transition the business over to more corporate commercial as opposed to wedding stuff, which is kind of what we started out doing a lot of. So that's been enjoyable. And that's kind of the catch up, the general overview. I know we've talked since then, so I don't have to talk to you about what I've been up to. But still, 2025 though ended up being kind of a solid year. It started kind of slow, but I think it really kind of picked up towards the end and closed out really strong with a lot of stuff that some things I still haven't seen, as I'm sure same with you. Always hard to make top 10 lists even this early into the year, because in Houston we don't necessarily get all the things until late January or even when the Oscars. Sometimes they don't even get here.
Around Oscar time is when we get the movies. Yeah.
So I've seen most of the things that I think are going to be contenders, at least in the most of the major categories. I think some of the foreign stuff just hasn't gotten here yet. I have a list of a couple of them, like Resurrection. It's a Chinese thriller that I haven't seen. Secret Agent is from Brazil. That's a big name. Sirat, I think is how you pronounce it. Looks really good.
I saw that.
But I don't think it's come here yet either. Oh,
No, it hasn't. I
you
saw,
have?
when I was
Okay.
looking at the movies, I was like, oh, isn't that supposed to come out already? But in New
Well, and
York,
then
it was out.
Houston's such a large city too. Sometimes we'll
Yeah.
get like a weekend run of something, but it's like
Yeah.
across town. It's like I'm not sitting in an hour and a half of traffic to go
Serious.
watch a movie realistically. Or they do like screeners of things and then they don't come out for months. So it's a
Months. Yeah.
weird release schedule here in Houston, unfortunately. But other than that, though, the only other one that I think has been getting some Golden Globe buzz was and Emmy, just nominations. Is If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I have on streaming, but I have not actually watched yet.
Yeah. Me either.
Aside from that, though, I feel like I've seen most of the big stuff. I wanted to revisit Sentimental Value one more time.
Yeah, you've been telling me about that. I haven't seen that yet. Yeah.
I just caught it on a day where I don't know, there was somebody texting in the theater. There was nobody in the theater that day at AMC, and there was something else going on in the friend group or something, and I was just kind of distracted. That I don't know. I just wasn't as attentive to the movie as I feel like I should have been. I liked it a lot. I felt a little disconnected from it, and want to revisit that one because I feel like that's something that could probably make my list. Huge fan of his previous film. Worst Person in the World. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, that came out
several years ago.
Yeah, it came out like 3 years ago. I remember.
That's a great film. That's like a something I've seen 10 or probably 12 times or something. I've shown everyone that movie since. This is far quieter of a film and definitely more intimate about like a estranged father and daughters. And Renate Rinsve. I don't know how to pronounce that. It's
I'm gonna try.
She's from Norway, I think. I don't know if she's from there, but the director, it's definitely shot in Norway, in Oslo, is again like Worst Person in the World. That's a notable one though. That's not on my list, but I do think probably could make it. How about you? Is there anything that you really wanted to see that you feel like was probably going to be in contention for things that you missed?
What's the movie? It was an accident, or
I actually was just watching that.
Yeah, because I know that when I went to New York, me and Johnson were going to go see it, but he had the wrong theater. It was playing at BAM and not at the Nighthawks, so we didn't get to see it. But it's getting, but didn't it? It got nominated during the Golden Globes. I don't even know.
It's Jafar Panahi who did No Bears, which I haven't seen. And This Is Not a Film, which is kind of a notorious. He did it without the permission of the Iranian government. So he's kind of been around for a decade or two now, making stuff that's at least controversial to his own country and somewhat critical, without getting into all the politics of it. I think he's always been an interesting filmmaker. I'm always curious about what he's got going on. I think that's him, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I was just making sure I got that right. I didn't put notes down about that, but yeah, I was just watching that though before we got on the call here, and it's very good. I don't know that it's going to make a list for me, but it is a really unique concept for a film about them like kidnapping a person that they think was one of their captives that worked for the Iranian government and was like tortured them essentially.
Have you ever seen the film Death and the Maiden?
I have not.
It came out like in the mid to early 90s with Sigourney Weaver and Ben Kingsley. And that is the concept. But that's why I always said, it's probably more of a arty version of it. But Sigourney Weaver was captured during a war. It's all like kind of like unnamed. They don't say what country, but she ends up meeting Ben Kingsley through her husband. And she swears that Ben Kingsley's her captor. And they do the same thing. She ties him up, and the husband is like the outside viewer who's like doesn't know what's going on. But
gotcha.
That ever since that movie I saw, I was like, but I know there's more to it in the newer film. But that's why it reminds me of that older film, Death and the Maiden. So.
It definitely feels almost like it's not a documentary, and it's not necessarily shot like a documentary either, but it does feel very like ordinary life. Like in broad daylight, they have this guy in the back of their van, and he's like going around town trying to find people that were also captives, and confirm the man's identity. Interesting concept and interesting presentation. I don't know that it's like as propulsive of a thriller as it sells itself as. but still an interesting idea.
Oh yeah, no, definitely I want to see it still. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't actually finished it. I'm like 20 minutes from the end. I tried to finish it before but just ran out of time. I still don't think I was pretty sorry. I'd watched most of it prior to today. I don't like splitting viewings up that way, but
I got you know,
I just ran out of time whatever day I had started it, and I keep running out of time instead of finishing it. But yeah, definitely probably wouldn't make my list or anything, but it is an interesting concept. So but yeah, I don't know if there's anything else that you haven't seen that you really wanted to.
That I haven't seen. I did have a small list. I didn't know we were going to do that, but Secret Agent, as you mentioned, Die My Love, which didn't like seem. You saw that?
I did. Yeah, I went and saw that in theaters,
and I wanted to see that. Yeah. Is this thing on?
That looks really. I forgot about that. Yeah, this thing on looks really good. That just got a theatrical run.
Really, yeah, like
I think it's in Cinemark Christmas. Now here.
Yeah,
so
yeah, it is. Yeah, and I think that was it. I mean, as far as like seeing people's performances, I wanted to see Nuremberg to see how Russell Crowe did. The Testament of Anne Lee. I mean, I wanted to see it, and then I heard it was a musical, and then I kind of like didn't want to see it. But I mean, other than that, those were the ones I think I really wanted to see that I didn't see. I know you mentioned a couple of movies the other day that sounded interesting that I want to see, but I didn't know of them until you mentioned them. So
makes sense. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out this year, and I do think in the foreign market there's a lot of really great titles. So yeah, I mean, I also have some not honorable mentions. We kind of talked about whether or not, I know they're not really honorable mentions for me because a lot of these movies, like one of them is Final Destination Bloodlines. I had a lot of fun with that. It's not going to make my top 10 list of the year. Not that I think it's actually the best of the franchise and very good.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
And shockingly expensive and, really fun. Like I had such a good time. But yeah, not like it's not a masterpiece or anything. So some things that I have a list of things that I enjoyed that aren't, high cinema or anything.
You guys can watch it on HBO Max. It's on HBO Max right now, so you can check it out.
Yeah, it's worth a watch. I think I hate that franchise. I've never been a fan. I think it's one of the worst like horror franchises. I mean, there's a lot of bad ones, so maybe that's an overstatement. But it's, I've never been a fan, and I feel like it's such a great idea for a franchise, and they've just missed the mark up until this point, in my opinion. But this is like a breath of fresh air. It feels like a high budget, well made, just like lean, goofy movie that knows what it is, and I think the self awareness is what I think the franchise was truly missing up until this point. So that was when I just had a lot. It surprised me how fun it was. And again, just kind of tongue in cheek and goofy. So we had a really good time with that one. But I have a list of other movies like that I've kind of put together. You said yours was more of an honorable mention list. I don't think it matters that much. These are just things we liked.
I didn't want to. I didn't want to dismiss them because there was some things I liked about in the film, but they weren't no way near a best of list.
Sure,
you know what I mean.
Well, you go ahead. Read off some of the ones that you liked.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So just like you said, honorable mention styles. I told you about it. It's on Peacock if anybody wants to watch it. It's Honey Don't.
Joel or Ethan Coen, right?
Ethan Coen's film. I love Margaret Qualley. I mean, she's ever since, but even before The Substance, but The Substance solidified her for me. And the screenplay, it's just like, it's kind of keeping in the Coen brothers noirish, vein. Margaret Qualley plays this detective, and she has some issues, and she comes across this a family hires her to investigate the death of their daughter, and she gets caught up, or she gets mixed up in a bigger scheme of things. It's just I love watching her. Aubrey Plaza is also amazing as her lover, co-helper, and Chris Evans doing a small role, but he's so funny in it. And I just really liked it, but it kind of falls apart toward the end, and it seems like, I don't want to say he didn't care about it, but it's just like it just comes and goes. Like that's the story, like it builds up and then it peters out. And but I loved Honey Don't, but I mean, again, it's not going to go on any of my top for this today. Yeah.
What was the name of the one that he did right before this last year?
Yeah, I know that. I should have. I
I
forgot what
like
it was.
it. I don't hate it. It's goofy as hell. It reminds me
Goof,
of
yeah,
something sillier, like the Coen Brothers goofier stuff.
stuff. Yeah,
More,
like
it's not
blood
quite as good
simple.
as
Yeah.
something like Burn After Reading, but it was
Oh,
like
of course not. Yeah,
in the same silly vein as something like that.
yeah.
I forget what that's called though. The like road trip comedy
With the girls,
with the
right?
dildos. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Oh my god.
Anyway,
Yeah, anyway, yeah, but
this
that I
looked
like
kind
that
of
one too.
like
Yeah.
that. It looked like it was in a similar tone, at least. I don't know. I don't know
Well,
enough
this one
about
is a
it.
little bit more darker, more dramatic, but
Mm,
it is the screenplay is amazing. It's like Margaret's Qualley is like those old gumshoes from the 40s. It's like really well done. And everyone has some really good lines. It's just I think the story ends up not working 100%. Like
makes sense.
characters are amazing. Charlie Day's amazing. It's like so many character actors in it, but yeah, the story just doesn't pan out the way you expect or want. So,
Makes sense.
but that's
It
yeah,
happens. It
yeah,
definitely
yeah.
happens.
So
One of the ones that I saw that I'm sure you probably saw as well is Sinners, which was definitely on
mhm,
the cusp of making my list. I think it's pretty damn good. This is probably the best
yeah,
one on my like honorable mentions list, at least off the top of my head.
definitely. So it's on my list. There goes a sneak peek.
Spoiler, sorry. We'll talk about it more when we get to the
No,
list,
no,
but
no,
that
yeah,
was
yeah,
one
yeah.
that I
But
really enjoyed. I think it kind of we'll talk a little bit more, but I think it kind of falls apart in the third act. Not falls apart completely,
yeah,
but it just was so good for like 2 hours and then I think
yeah,
it kind of goes off the rails. Not off the rail. Anyway, we'll talk more about it,
but yeah,
but
yeah. Okay.
that was one that made my like honorable mentions or whatever you
Mhm.
want. Friendship was another one which I
Oh,
had
I
a lot
love,
of fun with the
and
Tim
and
Robinson.
that's what I was having an issue with. Was it released in 2025?
So IMDb says 2024, but I looked
Four,
at I
yeah.
looked at when I saw it in theaters and it was 2020. It was like May of
May,
2025. I think.
March, yeah. Oh, then now I'm going to add that to my mentions too because I loved it. I mean, Tim Robinson's comedy is so dark and dry, but it's amazing. He's always funny, and Paul Rudd was great too. I
Yeah,
loved him in
yeah,
that.
yeah. My favorite bit about it, which is kind of a spoiler for this will be a spoiler filled, other than things that
Yes,
Carlos hasn't seen. I'm not going to spoil it for Carlos, but
yeah, yeah.
yeah, there will be some minor spoilers for
Oh
things
yeah,
and maybe some major ones for anything on these lists. But if I get into that, I'll try and
yeah,
spoiler
yeah.
warn it. But
For the
if you
bigger
haven't,
films, I guess
yeah, if
maybe.
you haven't seen something, just look at the description
Yeah,
below of our lists and avoid it until you get a chance to catch up.
yeah.
But yeah, my favorite bit in Friendship though is the fact that his whole not downfall, but the whole thing that spoils his like inevitable plan to try and crash his car into into Paul Rudd's like dream vehicle is spoiled by
Yeah.
this speed bump that he installed or he like
Oh,
was there's this bit that he like reached out to the city to try and get those installed so people couldn't speed through the neighborhood and then it's inevitably what
he created his own downfall.
I mean that's just so funny to me. But
Genius.
yeah, I like that movie a lot. It's
Yeah,
very surreal, and I think the Chair Company is very much in line with the
yeah.
humor
That.
of it, and also very
Yeah,
good. I'm a
yeah,
huge Tim Robinson fan, so it's hard
yeah,
to.
yeah. I know you are.
Yeah, it doesn't take much for him to make me happy, but it's not something that's going to make a list, though. It's not
Yeah,
like
agreed.
not
Agreed.
that I mean it could if you like the movie, that's great, but I do like it a lot. So,
Yeah,
Companion was another one that I think is really good.
that's also on my honorable mention. Yeah, yeah.
That one was like 10th until I was really looking at what I'd seen this year. So it was definitely kind of on the precipice.
I
Together is
think.
another one. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, well, no, I was going to say about Companion. I just think that it unfortunately is the demise or victim to horrible trailers that ruin a film.
Oh, I know.
Because that first trailer was amazing,
Hmm.
and I was like, I gotta see this. And then the second trailer just gives away one of the most giant, plot devices. I was like, why would they do that?
And to be fair, that plot device is in the first like 10 minutes.
Technically,
Like
yeah,
the idea of what is happening is in the first
yeah,
10 minutes. It's to some degree the inciting incident of the film, right? I think you
yeah,
could put it in the synopsis. I do agree though completely though that the first trailer was more of a teaser that gave you a
yeah,
tone. It gives
mhm,
you like who's in it, who direct or who produced it. I
yeah,
think they use Zach Kreger's name in the
yeah.
preview, but he didn't direct it. He just
You didn't,
produced it,
yeah.
I think. It's like from the producers of Barbarian. You're like, oh, is he? It's like he just produced it, but still. But yeah, like the idea, and I guess we're getting a spoiler. So like, the fact that she's an AI companion
Yeah,
is like, I got it spoiled for me in that same second trailer that you're talking about
Yeah,
played
yeah.
on Facebook, and Facebook in the description, like I swipe through trailers if it's something
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
want
yeah.
to watch, but the
Mhm.
freaking description on Facebook spoiled that for me. And I'm like, come on, like, it's like, cause it's
I
such a
was so
great
upset, yeah.
idea. And I think if you
But it
watch
was,
the
yeah.
movie not knowing that, like, 15 minutes in when it happens, you're like, oh, that's a cool big moment that's
Yeah,
completely
yeah.
ruined by the synopsis of the film. Anyway, it's a weird problem, but it's
Yeah.
also just a perfect example of bad trailers giving too much away.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well,
Zootopia 2, it's really good.
okay, yeah.
It's one of my
It was
other.
funny. Yeah, I saw that. It was
I
funny.
laughed a lot.
Yeah, I did too. I was like sitting in the theater. We snuck in to wait out our next film. And I was just laughing more than everybody in the theater. And I felt like an old man, corny, but like kids, I mean, kids are gonna laugh at certain things, but there were some really good, double entendres and stuff like that. And I was just laughing so loud, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I laughed 50 times. Like it just, I mean,
You
it's
counted?
no, but I mean, like, just there's like a visual or auditory gag at like every 30 seconds of that film. It's so fun. I mean, it really
Yeah.
it reminds me of like when I first saw like Lego Movie or these other
Yeah, yeah.
big, like really well produced animated, comedies. It just felt like the S tier comedy stuff. I mean, the first Zootopia also felt that way, but
Yeah, I
this felt
liked
like
it.
it was at the same level of quality. I mean,
Yeah.
I think the some of the like story in the end is a little cheesy, but I think like
Yeah.
I don't know. I laughed so much and
Me too.
very consistently. So yeah, that was another one
Yeah.
that easily could have made my list too. I
Yeah.
think, and then I also have Final Destinations on there. I kind
Yeah.
of skipped over that. Naked Gun remake. I really liked that.
Funny. Funny. Yeah.
The Ugly Stepsister was one that I caught kind of
Yeah,
randomly.
we
That was
talked
like
about that one.
really,
Yeah.
really solid kind of Cinderella meets the substance. It's a little
Yeah, it was
slow, and I
good.
think it
Yeah.
meanders a little in the later chunk of the movie, but I had a lot of fun with that. And there's a couple
Yeah, me
scenes in
too.
that are real gnarly and real fun.
Yeah.
The new Knives Out movie actually also made my list. I really liked that.
It made your list, or is it
It did
honorable?
not, but it
Oh,
almost
that's what I was
did.
gonna say. Yeah, yeah. I think that in that film, because it's not as good as the first, and the second one isn't as good as the first, but Josh Brolin is amazing in that.
He is good.
He's so good in that. I loved him in that. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the lead guy too. I'm going blank on his name. He's also in Mastermind this year.
Yeah, the actor.
Josh,
Yeah, I mean,
Josh something. I don't know. Could be. I could
what
look
has
that
he done
up. But
before this? Like,
I didn't even recognize him.
Like,
Um,
yeah. Oh, okay.
here
Maybe that.
I can find it in about 5 seconds. Here,
Yeah, there you
go. Josh O'Connor's is the name. He has like 2 other big credits, and apparently the ladies love him. I don't know.
The ladies love him.
Challengers. He's in that. That's the most recent big one, which I haven't seen still.
I haven't either. I have it on my list, but I haven't seen it.
He was in The Crown as well, which I also haven't seen. He plays Prince Charles. So, but people really like him.
The TV show,
yeah,
The Crown.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And he was in The Mastermind, which is I haven't seen, but I do have on streaming.
It came out this year. Yeah, I haven't seen it. Yeah.
So he's becoming a big name, and I think he's in something else that I want to see coming up. I think he's in the new Spielberg movie, I believe. Yeah, I think coming up next summer.
That trailer is amazing. I want to see it.
Looks really good. Yeah, I mean, it's Spielberg, so I like that he's returning to science fiction.
Science fiction, yeah.
Knives Out was one of the last ones, and then Frankenstein for me was one of the other honorable mentions.
I haven't seen it. Yeah,
but you told me bad reviews. I don't know what this score was on it.
You told me I'm going to watch it because you said to watch it. That's the only reason. But yeah, it got such horrible reviews, and everybody I know, friends who aren't like us who know film, but they all had the same thing, without not liking Jacob Elordi's Frankenstein or not liking Isaac Isaac's Victor Van Trump. So I mean, I don't know. I'll definitely check it out because you said that you liked it, so I want to see it anyway. But yeah, I don't know.
I definitely have a few problems with it, which we kind of briefly talked about. I mean, I think the section of the film where Oscar Isaac, like when Frankenstein comes to life and Oscar Isaac kind of turns on his own creation. I think a lot of that stuff is like really hurried in this
Mhm.
version of it. I don't know what it's like in the book, and I guess on
Yeah,
paper it hits the beats that you need, but I feel
yeah.
like it could use a little bit of, like, if the movie was like 30 minutes longer, I feel like we could
Mhm.
round out that section of it, which sets up the whole rest of the story.
Rest of
So
the
I
story,
don't know.
yeah.
That felt a little hurried. Maybe there's a director's cut out there that kind
Hopefully, yeah,
of rounds that out a little bit, but it is stunning at times. And
yeah,
also just, I think, I haven't read the novel. I would like to at some point, but I think it was written in a time kind of in the romantic era of
yeah.
books, and this kind of feels like it hits that tone really well.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know. It's a rather than being like a dark horror film, it is
Yeah.
dark at times and it is a horror film at times.
Mhm.
But I would say that's, it doesn't quite get, like, if you're expecting something like Robert Eggers,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a Nosferatu, I don't think it
Okay.
reaches those depths at all, and it's not trying to.
Okay.
I would compare it more to like Shape of Water in terms of the horror, like in terms of the monster horror. It's more
Interesting.
romantic, even at times,
Okay.
than not that Oscar Isaac and Frankenstein are trying to get down, um, but I don't know, just the way that the story is told, and I don't
But
know, but
how's Mia Goth in it?
she's good. She has fabulous outfits in it. But she kind of takes a back seat to the third act is where I start to kind of have trouble with it. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
the whole setup to the monster,
Hmm.
great, really great stuff. Oscar
Yeah,
Isaac's very good, and then Jacob Elordi's good. I don't have
yeah,
any
yeah.
problems with his version of Frankenstein. I think there's a reliance on CG in the later parts when so much of it's practical. Some of the
Yeah, yeah.
CG elements really kind of stand
Interesting.
out.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. It's not a masterpiece by any means, but I do think it's, I mean, successful in what it's trying to accomplish overall.
Okay.
So I think I told you though. I think I'd be curious to see Robert Eggers do Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
Like if
Well,
he took the same material and just gave it to somebody who,
he's done Nosferatu. He's doing the werewolf. Let's see what he does.
yeah,
You
like
never know.
yeah, if you let him make it a horror film, I think you could. I
Yeah.
mean, not that there's definitely elements of that in this, but I think if you really dialed that up a notch, I think this movie would be better for that. So, but that may never happen. So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, that was my list. I don't know if there are any other honorable mentions that you had worth talking about.
Well, no, because that was going to say, like, as of acting, I was going to mention Josh Brolin, but yeah,
Yeah, he's great.
that was it. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I guess we can get started on top tens. The thing that
Let's do that
everyone has
top
been
10,
waiting
Rob.
for.
What you've
We're going
all
to start
been
from
waiting
10
for.
and work our way up, and I guess we'll just go back and forth. So I'll let
Yeah.
you go ahead and start if you got them ready.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. So my 10 is Springsteen, Deliver Me from Nowhere.
Mm.
Oh my God. Don't let me forget his name.
Shameless.
Oh my God.
Jeremy. No, what's his? I'm going
Jeremy
blank.
Allen White.
Yes.
Yeah,
I got
Jeremy
Jeremy.
Allen
It's
White.
my name. I should know that.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jeremy Allen White and his performance as Bruce Springsteen. He like becomes Bruce Springsteen. He even sings the songs just like with Bruce Springsteen's raspy voice. Um, I think that and the screenplay was really good. It's just very slow, and I understand why. Like who wants to go see a movie about the darkest point of Springsteen's life where he's depressed and he's writing Nebraska, one of his darkest albums, and you feel that it's like you get that feeling that it's like Rhonda liked it only because she loves Bruce Springsteen because of me, and she did like the performance, but it was too slow for her.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be a fan of Springsteen and what's his name? Jeremy Strong or what's his name? The one who not Jeremy Strong, no, the one who plays his manager. He was also amazing in that, and he gets lost in the role where, like I said, I forget who the actor is, but I enjoyed it for that. I think it was an amazing performance, and like I said, it's just such a dark, depressing film, but it moved me. Like I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was really good. So that's my number 10.
So, like, if you're not a huge fan of, I just am not familiar with Springsteen. This probably won't make you a fan. or maybe it doesn't work as well as a movie for somebody that is that what you're saying? Like,
I mean, so someone like you said you're not a fan. I think it would turn you on to wanting to listen to the album.
That's fair. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then once you hear that album, I it's my favorite album of all time. So I don't see you not saying, oh, this is really good. I would like to hear something else, you know, and outside of all the hits after Born in the USA and blah, 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 like his early stuff, which is a man writing about his life and the life around him. And I think, like, you know, remember Springsteen started out as like the new Dylan, you know, and with his harmonica. And so I think it's like that, you know, the music stories told through his music. And I mean, like I said, I definitely will say that after watching this, and someone like you would sit through it. I mean, I would hope, but I think that it catches you early on about this album, and, you know, hearing the songs and everything, I know would say, let me hear this album. I think everyone might do that. And then from there, you know what I mean? So I think that's what it would accomplish, if anything, you know. So.
Makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm curious to see it. I have it on Plex as well. So I would like to see it at some point. My number 10 is Mickey 17, which I feel like could be higher. I've seen it 5 times or something, and it's so fun.
It is fun. Very fun. Yeah.
You know, Bong Joon-ho's, English is how many he's made. Snowpiercer was his last one, right? That was he did the one with Jake Gyllenhaal on Netflix that I have, Okja, right? That was his other like English speaking
right
film.
Yeah, that's right. But that was like a Netflix movie. It got released in theaters for a couple of months, but I mean, I've always wanted to see it, but I haven't. It's there, you know, in my queue, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know how many English spoken films he's made, but it's one of his more recent ones. And I had a friend of mine talk about how he's a better director in his original language, and I think that's an interesting point for the film. I think the film's great. I just think I am curious to see, like, if you made this movie and it was, you know, in his original language, if the jokes would translate the same way and things like that. That was just a point he made. I think it's an interesting idea. I do think there's some pacing issues kind of in the third act of it. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I have. I mean, it's funny that you mentioned Snowpiercer, because I think they're two sides of a coin. Snowpiercer is so dark and dramatic, whereas Mickey 17 is light
goofballs.
and goofball funny. Yeah, so I think it's interesting. But I love
the Porky Pig accent from Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson, he's good at it. It's like
he's very good. Yeah, it's a goofy character, but there's some real depth there, and the performance is actually legitimately great. I do think I think it's got a lot of great science fiction. I mean, I guess we can talk synopsis real quick. Mickey 17 is Robert Pattinson plays Mickey, who signs up to be what do they call him again? It's like not a replicant, but
in that vein. But
anyway, they can essentially, like, there's a character, Mark Ruffalo plays Kenneth Marshall, who's like a kind of a Trump-esque capitalist character that is trying to experiment with starting his own colony on another planet. You know, to creating his own true race, you know, unlike somebody, you know, somebody very similar to somebody that, you know, in history that committed some atrocities as well. But then he wants to take a bunch of people on a ship to another planet and start his own colony of people that he may or may not be breeding all of the offspring for that entire, you know, anyway, so he's getting on a big ship and leaving, and there's this offer that's made to Robert Pattinson. He's desperate, and so he's trying to get off Earth because he's being chased for a crime that he committed, and so he signs up to be somebody that essentially can die over and over again and be reprinted. And really fun kind of premise, kind of like Groundhog's Day, but he is like a whole new person every single time, with the same DNA. So personalities can kind of shift, and I like the way it kind of toys with that idea. And just the idea of like what it means to be alive, and you know,
I guess you could say that. Yeah,
I think it tackles these like interesting science fiction ideas, though, of like you know, the consequences of unrestricted capitalism and you know, extreme ideology. Like, I think one of the more interesting ideas of the film. Hey, you've seen it, right? Wait, you said you've seen it?
Yeah. No, I did. Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
In the last few minutes of the film, when we there's this somewhat dream sequence of Kenneth Marshall being reprinted. I think there's an interesting idea there that like extreme ideology can kind of last beyond your lifetime,
Yeah.
and the consequences of your actions like have a long lasting impact. I
Long
think
lasting
that's an
yeah.
interesting. I think there's a lot of the politics of the film are definitely worn on its sleeve, which I think.
Definitely.
And this is something that I think, like when we're talking about like him directing a film in you know his not his like original language, these are the areas where I think I'd be curious to see like the nuance of some of those ideas. I mean, this character is kind of a cartoon, so it's like it's hard to know. But ultimately, I do think it lacks some substance or like nuance to a lot of those elements. But I do think in the final act, there's that interesting idea that I think elevates it beyond just kind of a cartoonish portrayal of Trump or Hitler or whoever you want to. So I don't know. I like that idea though, that he like, despite the fact that he's no longer alive, like he will live on through time. And the horror of that, I think is just an interesting darkness to that final couple scenes. So that's something I think elevates it beyond just kind of the goofball science fiction comedy that it is. So I really like it.
No, I do too. I think everyone should watch it. It's funny.
What was your number 9?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
So my number 9 is Bring Her Back.
Nice. That's also on my list. Spoilers.
Yeah. So spoiler. I'll be honest. Like I said, any movie that kind of moves me in any way, either to make me feel good and make me feel bad. But I've never cringed as much as I ever did in my life while watching this fucking movie. I saw it with my daughter Emma, and it was just a hard film to watch, and
for so many reasons.
I
know which ones you're talking about specifically. I think I can guess. Two particular scenes, one with a knife, one with a table.
Oh my god!
That are some of the most memorable and visceral sequences in film this year, for sure. I mean, it's undeniable.
It's a great word. Yeah. Visceral. Yeah.
This one's actually, I guess it's a spoiler, but let's just get into this one now rather than revisiting it whenever I bring it up, because it's 4th on my list. No, 5th. Sorry, my numbers are all off. So, so it's 5th on my list, but it could easily be higher. I mean, this is just one of those movies. I think I saw it, and then the next day I was like, I gotta take somebody else to see this thing. It's like it leaves such a lasting impression.
No doubt.
I mean, my wife and some of my friends were like, I loved it. It's spectacular, but I'll never see it again. And I'm like, I don't blame them at all for that. It's such an intimate portrait of loss and just, I don't know, like the darkness that comes with that. And obviously the body horror is like any good body horror film. I think there's, plenty of horrifying substance behind it. And I think it pairs that portrait of grief with horrifying sequences of violence in a way that is just unforgettable. It reminds me a lot of some of the similar themes from Talk to Me, but it's such but it feels more personal. It just feels like something that, I don't know, it feels like you're like being brought inside this home and all the horrors that come with that. I don't know. Anyway, sorry, I kind of took it from you. Took the stage from you.
No. And I'm glad you brought up Talk to Me, because I mean, I love that movie too. That would have made my list last year too. But this is just, like you said, it's just so much more meaningful and deeper, intimate about loss. And it's like, it's funny that you say that, because I've been wrestling with watching it again.
Sure.
I want to see it again, but I was like, I can't get anyone else to watch it with me. But I think Gloriana said she'd watch it with me. But yeah, I just love it. Like you said, visceral is like the best word you can use to describe this film, I think. Yeah.
I also think it builds this intimate world as well, with a
Yes.
lot of really specific details that I think are haunting and brilliant,
Mhm.
that it sets up early on in the film. One in particular that I think is just great is the little plaque that she has outside the pool.
Oh,
There's a
yeah.
moment earlier in the film where the pool is empty. I think it's the sequence. I forget the order. It's been a while since I've seen it. The
Yeah.
sequence where with the cat in the pool.
Yes.
I think it's
Yes.
that scene, but she runs into the pool and there's a moment where we cut to like an insert shot of this plaque that was her daughter's. That's like out. It's like right at the edge of the steps of the pool, or like maybe it's one step into the pool. I forget. But later in the film, you see the same thing and it's covered with water. And I'm like, God
Yeah.
damn! Like
Yeah.
that's just horrible. Like it's just a horrible visual concept. It does so many things like that
Oh,
throughout that just really flesh out these ideas that it has that it's toying with. One of my favorite things is Piper, the younger sister's blindness. The way
blindness,
that
yeah.
it kind of toys with that idea for tension, but also just like she places her trust in Sally Hawkins, who's just tremendous in this film.
She's amazing. Yeah. So
Just
so different from
spectacular.
Shape of Water. It's like
Yeah.
two different people. It's like amazing.
But I think you at least understand her motivation throughout, and it's so
Yeah.
heartbreaking. It's like what she's doing is wrong, but
It's like we
you understand
become
why.
we become almost complicit in what her bad things, because
Yeah.
it's like I do feel for her. I do almost understand what she's trying to do, but
Sure.
it's just bad.
Yeah, it's all bad. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like all bad.
And the performance really portrays that really well. This this broken person that's just desperate to for the outcome that she's hoping for.
Yeah, because at the end with the like guidance counselor,
yes, yeah, that's exactly what I was
going. The social worker who comes. That moment is just like it's like when you almost start to cry. It's like
there's just a feeling of desperation that is tangible with that performance and that character, and again, you feel for her despite the fact that she's doing horrible things,
horrible atrocities.
I think that that's just good drama and great character building. But I think one of my favorite things with Piper specifically, one of the more striking visuals I have listed is, well, it's two scenes. It's one. It's when everything is when the shit hits the fan, and when the brother's killed in it. I think it's just like a brutal sequence of events. Like when the caregiver is hit with the car, and then you see her come out. I mean, it's just like it's a guttural.
Yes.
That's a gut punch. I mean, it's brutal. And then the following scene, she picks her up from practice. And the door slams shut. She gets in the car, and you can see like the cracked windshield from that accident. But Piper can't see it, and you're like,
exactly.
What a great idea. It's right in front of her.
Right, exactly.
And she's placed her trust in this person that is clearly, doesn't have what's in her best interests at heart, and but she just physically can't see it. Great way to build tension, and again, just a really great idea. But there's the following scene. She walks into the house because she thinks she hears the brother upstairs. Yeah, and there's this shot looking down at the from the second floor down at her, and she's like standing in his blood on the ground, and it's just like, but she can't see it. Like, and it's just
exactly.
I don't know, man. There's so many these great details that I think that movie hits so hard. It's really good. So, such a great second feature from the Philippa brothers as well. Philip. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I'm curious to see what else, because I just feel like it's like masterful stuff from them. So. And so was Talk to Me, but I think this is a step in a different, I think they've really stepped up.
Going upward. Yeah, so, definitely. They moved.
That was number 5 on my list, but I think it's definitely one of the best of the year for sure. So, so that was your number 9, right?
That was wait, let me go back now. I was like, what's your number?
Sorry, my numbers are all messed up.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I made it worse. So my number 9 is Sorry Baby.
Ooh, I know.
Which is the directorial debut. Yeah. Have you seen it yet?
Yeah. I told you I did, and like I said, I know. Well, you go. You talk, and then I'll tell you. But
I'll
yeah,
just
go
kind
ahead.
of
It's your
briefly
film.
set up the synopsis for it, which is it's the debut feature from Eva Victor. Eva Victor, I don't know how to pronounce.
Yeah.
She's French, I believe. She plays
Yeah.
Agnes, who is the film's kind of told out of sequence, but it's about a character that she's in the early or in the timeline of events. She's studying to get her doctorate or master's, I
Doctor.
forget.
No, doctor.
And so she's going through that process in school, and then the film kind of opens with her 3 or 4 years later. I forget the timeline, but
Yeah.
after something horrible has happened to her, and essentially just her dealing with that tragedy, that everyday tragedy,
Yeah.
and that horrific thing that occurred. And in a lot of small ways, it's set in a small town outside of Boston. I don't know if it's
Mhm.
outside of Boston, but it's in Massachusetts. Feels like it could be like any small
Yeah.
Midwestern town. It feels like
Yeah.
it could be anywhere, and I think that's the key thing that really elevates
Exactly.
this
Yeah.
film,
Mhm.
is that ordinary component to it. In the horrible atrocity that's committed, or atrocity is maybe a weird
A
word to
strong
use there.
word, but yeah, I see.
But ultimately, like she's a victim of an act, something horrible, and the way that that's portrayed in the film, I think, is a really unique choice. To you don't actually see what happens, which is an
Yeah.
interesting thing that it toys with later on, the validity of the
Yeah.
event in her eyes, and it. Anyway, it's shot from like outside across the street, looking at the
Yeah.
house, and you see
At the
this
house.
passing of
Yeah.
time and people walking through like just an
Walking
ordinary
through like,
neighborhood.
yeah.
I think it's a
Mhm.
really just, devastating, um, just normalness to that sequence, and then I think the way that it portrays the aftermath and her kind of getting her life, assembling the pieces of her life
Nice.
after that, and the kind of the quiet consequences of it. I
Yeah.
think that film really handles all that really well. So just like her security in her own home and her value of self based
Yeah.
on the way that her attacker described her, like extraordinary is what I think he says. And there's a really interesting idea of like if somebody tells you something and builds you up and then commits an act like this, does that mean anything? Does that mean something? Am I extraordinary, or is that
Yeah.
just being said to lure me in so that you could do what he intended to do?
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's also funny. It's also very funny.
There are some scenes, and I think that's why I didn't love it. I think it's funny because me and Rhonda, we ended up being like we're like the same person, and it's like I just felt that it, and I know it's the point of the film, but it just downplays everything, and the way she deals with it is so, I don't know. It's just like un. I, I sat there and I watched it, and like I said, I didn't love it because it's like I wanted to react for her. I wanted to do the things that I felt she should have done. And I know, and like I said, Rhonda, if Rhonda was here, she'd be telling you, because she's a woman, and she was just like dumbfounded because it's like the way she deals with what happens
Mhm.
is just so almost nonchalant and uncaring. And it just took me out of it. And it's like, and the movie's almost simplistic. Like it goes back
Mhm.
and forth, but you get the point, what happens, and you see how she deals with it.
Oh, cut
Ends.
it.
And it's like, I mean, no, I'm not giving away with her best friend's child. I mean,
Mhm.
that's not giving away anything. And we all like, and please, I hope I'm not being unpolitically correct but it's like, I actually at one point thought that she might have been autistic. It was like, because that's
Interesting.
the way she dealt with it was just so like, like my son is autistic, and it's like, we sat there and I said that, I kept saying, is she autistic? Is this character autistic? I mean, and I know you never, I mean, I know they never say yes or no, but it's like, that's how I felt. And I just felt like she deals with it just like in not a way that I would expected her to deal with it. And it kind of almost feels like it's like like blah, like meh, like, and it kind of took me out of it. And I know that that's me. That's just me as a person.
Well,
But
I
and
don't.
I
I don't
know.
think it's just you. To be clear, I do think
Okay.
this is there is a criticism. One of the main criticisms of the film is that it's making light of something like this, which I think is an interesting discussion, right? I mean, I think I listened to, I forget, I think it was Mark Kermode or somebody was talking about how they loved the film and they thought that it was this character's response, like it was appropriate for that character, not for everyone. And I think there's an interesting, I think, like, for instance, the trial sequence of the film where she's debating whether or not this is something worth
that was
acting on, right? Like, I think, and we set that concept, the idea that she's, not unsure about whether or not this is something that she wants to press charges, or that she's really a victim. Like, this is, I think the chapter is called like The Year with the Questions.
The Year with the Question, yeah.
And I think it's an interesting choice to set that in a legal environment. Oh my God, my cat's like attacking my computer. But she says, like, I the reason I didn't, press charges is because I don't. Then he would just be another guy in jail, another guy that did that. That I don't want him to do that, but but ultimately, it's like, it's interesting. I think it explores a lot of these ideas in an understated way. I don't think that the film is. I think she absolutely is dealing with it, though. I think she makes light of the situation. In like a gallows humor kind of way. But I mean, I don't know. I think there's like this motif that she's feels insecure in her own home, and I think that's portrayed. I think there's again the value that she has as a person, because she looked up to this person who was a mentor to her, and built her up and told her that she was great. And then it's like, does that have any value as after they treated you the way they did? I think that's an interesting thing to explore.
Of course, I hear what you're saying with that.
And then sexual intimacy, which I think we've seen that in other films, but I think the way it's handled is interesting and kind of funny at times. But also, just there's that scene in the bathtub with Lucas Hedges, who plays Gavin in the film, where he asks her, like, do you see a future? Like, do you see children in your future? And she's like, I don't know that I see a future at all. I don't know that I can see it. Right. I think that's an interesting component of it. I don't know. I mean, I get what you're saying, like the making light of it being something that you would want to light somebody's office on fire. But I don't think this character would do that. And that's an interesting point of contention for a lot of people. So I hear you, and I think you're not alone in that opinion, but I do think the film has a lot of interesting things to say.
I have to assume that I'm not alone. I mean, the movie, because I mean, I know the movie's a critic's darling, but it's not, I don't know. But that's how I felt.
And it's a first feature. I mean, ultimately.
I look forward to seeing what she does next.
Sure. I mean, it's an impressive performance. I think the sequence, the way that the event occurs and the way that's portrayed, and then her getting in her car and we get the whole ride home, was just a really interesting way to capture that moment in time, and it kind of makes you live with her during it. And I think that's an interesting choice.
I give you that. Yeah.
So, and then the scene in the bathtub after, I think, is just a brilliant piece of performance. And anyway, I don't want to spend this much time on each film, but we're only on number, that was my
Well, now we're going to 8. Yeah. So
anyway,
So number 8, I picked The Long Walk.
Okay. Interesting. I've seen that one. So
I know you did. And like I said, I know
set it up.
So basically, based on Stephen King's novel under his name, Richard Bachman, and it's about futuristic society or setting or whatever. Even though it takes place in the 50s, it's supposed to be like an alternate future. But we're in this like dystopian type Trumpian universe where the military, what they do is that they take one kid from every state and they have them walk until there's only one person left. And though, it's funny because even when I read the book, I said, because I was younger, but now it's like you can see that that's because you don't get to sleep and you don't get, you get breaks only with drinking water. Mm-hmm. And it's the relationships between the characters as they walk from one place to another. And even though the ending is not like the book, and I think that's where the movie falls flat, because of the way they change the ending up. But I really love, oh my God, this guy from Licorice Pizza. What's his
Yeah,
name?
I was looking it up. Oh, well,
Yeah,
the Cooper Hoffman,
Cooper Hoffman,
Philip Seymour Hoffman's son.
son. Yeah,
And
he's
then
amazing. He's amazing.
I was just looking it up here. David Johnson as well. I think is really
Yeah.
great. He
Hold on.
played the AI character in Alien Romulus.
Alien Romulus. Yes, yes.
I think he carries the whole movie.
Oh yeah,
Honestly,
I was
for
about to
me.
say he's great in the film. He does carry the film, and I mean I know he wasn't going to be nominated for anything because of the fact that the movie didn't do well, but yeah, it's just a great character driven film, and like I said, all the way up until the end, until like that last scene,
I do think the end. I think it completely fumbles the ending.
fumbles, yeah, and I hate that they did that. They should just kept to the book, but
I
yeah,
mean, I guess we're getting into spoilers at this point. How does the book end? Does it end with him walking away as opposed to shooting the general?
No, he does kill the general, but I think, but remember, it's Hoffman, Cooper Hoffman who wins the thingy, not what's the other character's name? Yeah, so it's that's what it is, but and it's not, they have this political thing at the end of the film, where this person stands up and he may start a revolution, people may follow him, but it's not about that. The book is as dark as it should be, and are there any real winners,
Sure.
that kind of thing. So that's what I liked about the book. But I mean, this one, it had that angle, and I just felt like that's what I didn't like about the movie, but it's only the last scene. But up until that, these character performances were really amazing.
Sure.
The movie builds on tension, it builds on, your feelings, like, the pulling at your heartstrings, and I really enjoyed the performances.
I agree. My only complaint, honestly, was just I think there's too much talking, which I think in book format, totally fine. Like these characters explaining kind of some of their backstory and stuff like that. And I want to be clear, I don't know how else you would do this. I think I simply think if you cut like 20% of the dialogue, the movie would be a lot better. Just from a subtlety standpoint, I feel like there's just a little. It was almost too stagey at times for me. But and then I really don't like the ending. I don't buy that character would make that decision, despite what it's set up. I think Cooper Hoffman's character would. I don't think David Johnson.
And that's why I said that. That's why I said when they changed it, it kind of ruined it.
I think you'd be better off just having him sacrifice himself for Cooper Hoffman, and then Cooper Hoffman carrying out that same act. I think that would be a better movie. I don't know. It just feels really bait and switchy, maybe to try and differentiate itself from the book, but I don't think that was the best choice. But I did like a lot about it. I think the sound design is really good. I think every moment of violence hits pretty hard and shot well. Yeah. It's produced really well. So I mean, overall, certainly not a bad film. No. But left me with the ending left me with a bit of a bad taste, though.
Yeah, agreed.
But yeah, it's still pretty solid. I'm curious to read the book. I feel like I'd like the book, though.
You should. I love the book. Yeah, all those Bachman books are amazing. Yeah, so dark.
Yeah. Number 8 for me was Hamnet. Which, have you seen this yet?
No, I know. I want to, but no, I didn't see it.
It'll get a re-release, I think, because it's already kind of getting some award buzz.
It is.
From Chloe Zhao, who directed the Frances McDormand movie. I've seen it. I forget what it's. Actually, won Best Picture. Didn't it win Best Picture? No.
She's
she like rents out an RV, or she like buys an RV
and then goes across country.
On the road. I'm going totally blank.
I know. I wanted
to picture the poster. Nomadland.
Nomadland. There we go. Yeah, I was looking it up.
Which I like. I like that film. It's not. I don't think it's a Best Picture movie, but any other year it wouldn't have even gotten nominated. It's a weird year. But she directed this, which is it's a adaptation of a historical fiction novel of the same name, which is it's based on true events of William Shakespeare's life and his family, including primarily the death of his son and how that translated to his famous piece Hamlet, and the book. Apparently it's a very faithful adaptation of that book, which came out a couple years ago. But essentially, Jessie Buckley plays Agnes, who is William Shakespeare's real wife in real life, I believe. I didn't do any research, as I usually don't for these things. It kind of goes into their story of growing to be fond of one another and then falling in love and getting married and having children and all those things. I think what's interesting about the setup for the film is there's kind of a dark edge to it, or at least a dark sense of brooding, I don't know, just dread that kind of builds towards that moment of, Hamnet passing away. There's this idea that her mother like lived in the woods, and like the village people think that she may have been a witch. And I think there's a really unique tone that reminds me of something Robert Eggers would do. Up to that moment. I think the highlight here is Jessie Buckley's performance. I think she's just extraordinary, like really, really good in this. And I would be shocked if anyone else walks away with the award this year for this performance.
She won the Golden Globe, didn't she? Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even look at those.
I think she did. I know it's a farce, but at least she won and Triana Taylor won. So I'm glad about that. But
that seems like would be my options, at least at first glance. There's some other really good ones this year, I think, but yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think she's the star here. Paul Mescal, I don't even know how to pronounce his name. He's great and everything. He's good in this as well, but I do think he takes a backseat to the film is more about his family and his departure to some degree, kind of the just leaving them behind to deal with this tragedy, but he's also dealing with it. And I think there's an interesting idea about how, as an artist, he was unable to communicate his feelings and emotions to them except through his art, and I think it handles all that pretty well. But yeah, I just think there's an interesting portrait of humanity in this that feels very authentic, and like the family dynamics and then the tragedy. I don't know, it feels very human, and it's just stunning. And the score is great. It seems like maybe on the surface this is kind of Oscar baity, but I think there's really something really, really great here. So it's definitely stuck with me since I saw it. So
yeah.
Anyway, number 7 for you?
7, yeah.
I don't have my numbers. This is driving me nuts. Sorry.
Roofman. Or the Roofman.
Okay, I have not seen Roofman. So
Roofman.
I know it's based on a true story, but go ahead and
based
give
on
us the
true
synopsis.
Story. So basically, it's about a guy, guy who doesn't, he has a family, and he, doesn't work out with doing regular jobs. He starts stealing. He robs a bunch of McDonald's, and he gets his name because he breaks in through the roof of these McDonald's and robs them. He ends up going to jail. But he's a guy who like sees angles, and while in jail, he finds a way to break out, very easily. And when he does, his friend who, they were both military men, his friend who's like the shady side of military says that, if he lays low for about a month, he can get him away out of the country and live happily ever after. And he ends up going into Toys R Us, running from the cops. He runs into a Toys R Us, and he finds a way to hide out there. And it's about his story from there, how he, goes into this Toys R Us, sees how things are, like the workers there, and he just becomes a part of their lives. And it's actually, believe it or not, it's a very good. I like Channing Tatum has never been better. I've never seen anything better. And Kirsten Dunst,
very good.
I've never put him down. And Kirsten Dunst is really good in it. This is the first role she's been in a long time where she's put in acting chops. And the story is it's kind of like you root for him. It's very feel goody. And it's there's parts where it's very dramatic. She has 2 children, and he becomes part of their lives reluctantly, well, not on his end, but their end. And it's just, the story is really good. And like I said, the true story happens almost exactly the same way. When you see the real people at the end, you're like, what? But in the way they look compared to Channing Tatum and Kirsten Dunst. But it's just, I liked it. We loved it. It's like from beginning to end, it gets you. I was never bored at any part. The story actually plays very well. And it's just one of those movies where, unfortunately, no one saw it. And, Channing Tatum gets screwed out for any type of, praise. But it's really good. And I recommend anyone. Right now it's on, not Peacock, Paramount, one of those 2, but you can watch it. It's MGM Plus. It's streaming there, so you can catch it there.
I don't know why that one kind of came and went. It looked good. The trailer is too long, which we talked about.
Yeah, it gives away everything, but it's a true story.
But that's more me complaining. I think for general, I'm still surprised. I mean, it's got a good cast. I'm surprised general audiences weren't as. It got decent reviews. Those that did see it, I think.
It was dropped off in October, and I think that's what kind of fucked it over.
Maybe just too much going on at that time. In the theaters, maybe. It does have a score by my one of my favorite bands, Grizzly Bear. Christopher Bear does the score for it. I'm curious. He did. He also did Past Lives, the score for that, and some other things. He's a really talented composer as well as musician. He's great.
I was going to say, oh, the music is really good. So I'm now going to look into that. Yeah.
Yeah, he co-wrote the Past Life score with Daniel Rosen from Grizzly Bear, but now has kind of ventured out on his own to do more. He's done a lot of scores actually, but very talented guy. They also did Blue Valentine. They did the score for that, which I think he directed this. I could be wrong. Is it Derek Cianfrance?
Yeah.
Yeah. So same director as Blue Valentine. Yep. Anyway, so he reunited with him for that, which I'm curious to see it for that and other reasons. It looks good.
Yeah.
So
what's your number
7? No Other Choice is my number 7, which is Park Chan-wook's new film. It's also the official submission for South Korea at the Oscars, and I think it's got a good shot at. I'm trying to think if there's anything else this year that's going to be able to beat it out on that market. There's some things we haven't seen, which we talked about, but it's essentially about a man named Mansu who played by the guy. He's the lead in I Saw the Devil.
Yeah.
Great in that. He's great, really great in this. He really balances the charisma and just kind of has an edge to him an edge of violence that I think really works for this particular role. But he plays a character that's been at a paper factory for over 25 years and then gets let go abruptly and decides to use his time trying to find a new job by he essentially tries to start killing off the competition of applicants in the area and so it's kind of this nice political satire about just corporations' lack of loyalty and care for its own people, and then the consequences of that, and then also I think AI specifically, just the way that's going to disrupt the workforce and again, like it's like kind of a just what's going to happen with that based on this is maybe an elevated narrative about a man being laid off, but the satire is definitely there. It's very funny and stunning to look at. And it just, anytime I see a film of his, it reminds me of like how weird movies can be, just every creative decision, but specifically like the tone of his movies. I just think it's like a breath of fresh air every time I see something from him. Handmaiden, I think I didn't love Decision to Leave as much, but I feel like I need to revisit that one. But yeah, he's just we also saw Old Boy, the remaster of Old Boy, the 4K remaster, I think last year came out, which just holds up so spectacularly over the past decade or whenever that came out. I mean, it's just a remarkable movie. So yeah, definitely another great film from him. That's my number 7. So,
so we're at number 6.
You're 6. Yeah.
Yeah. So number 6 is Eternity.
Okay. Yeah. I haven't seen this. Marissa wants to watch it.
Yeah. That's coming out on Apple Plus. Apple TV. You can watch that in February. It's an amazing movie. It's, I didn't think, it's funny because, being with Rhonda always likes to see girly movies or love movies. And it's really well written. It's very sweet. And what's his name? Elizabeth Olsen's amazing in it. I love her in it. And,
she's really taken on some good roles lately.
Yeah, she has. She does a lot of good independent film. And Miles Teller is amazing too as her husband or current husband. And it's just a really interesting story about the afterlife. It's also about, who we love and who what matters to us, and I thought it was a really nice, story. I loved, but the performances, the concept of the afterlife, like when you go, it's like a old beach resort, where you hang out there and wait and you get to choose where you want to stay for the rest of your life. And it's funny because when we went to see it, the Cinemark had actually promotional material there, which I didn't even see it when we got in, but on the way out. And, throughout the movie, you look at these, like they have little conventions there, and you go and they give you flyers of their world or your afterlife, and they have theater when we leave, so I grabbed like one of each. But it's like, it's like a sweet concept, but like toward the end, it's just so heartbreaking, and it's really powerful. And Elizabeth Olsen, again, a role that she chose that is going to be overlooked. I mean, I hope it was, but like so far, Golden Globes wasn't nominated. But it's just really, really well done, and I just love the performance, and it just meant a lot, as a married man. I mean, like you said, you're married, Marissa. I think when Marissa finally sees it, I think you're going to dig it. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a great premise. I like the idea, which we didn't really talk about, but it's just essentially somebody who has died and has to decide between first and second husband, correct? For eternity.
Correct. Like, for eternity. She, like, of course, he dies. He's like, that's why I felt like they're a married couple, Miles Teller and Elizabeth Olsen. But, it's like they argue and they fight, it's like anybody else. But she was married once when she was young, and he went to war and died. And, it was just like that love, that first love you had. And, it's captured in time as, everything's so new and everything's so perfect. And then you're with somebody for like 50 years, and it's like, they become like, your best friend, but your worst enemy. And that's what ends up happening. Like, who you choose. And I think that's why she's amazing, because the choices she makes, and, once she makes a choice, her regretting the choice. And then, so it's really good when you see, like I said, I mean,
I'm excited for it. I like the visual of it too. Just the aesthetic of it looks really nice.
Yeah.
We'll see it. We'll probably watch it this weekend or something. She's been looking forward to it. I just missed it in theaters. It wasn't something. There was a lot out at the time, I think, but definitely looks good though. And also A24. I think we've had a lot of those on this list. They've been putting out some good stuff this year.
Yeah, amazing.
I don't think they did this next one though of mine. Bugonia. I forget who released that. Was it Neon or?
It's Neon.
Was it Neon?
Yeah.
But yeah, the latest from Yorgos Lanthimos with Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons, and newcomer Aiden Delbus. I wrote down his name, who plays Don. Teddy's cousin, I believe, is the relation. His cousin. But yeah, he's at least on the spectrum. I don't know. They don't really specify.
You told me that. I didn't. We were wondering. We're like, is this guy really autistic? And
and he is in real life, supposedly. I haven't watched an interview or anything with him, but he's really good in this. And their relationship is really tender, but also Teddy is just not a great guy. But yeah, essentially, this also has a great premise. It's based on a previous film called "We Need to Save the Green Planet." I think I might be paraphrasing that title, but I forget which country that's from, but as a foreign language films, this was like the English adaptation of it. Originally, they had that foreign version, the previous version's director was supposed to come on board. Ari Aster produced it, and then they ended up, he had to drop for whatever reason, so they ended up going with Yorgos. And I just think like, the idea of the film is that a high-level CEO at a pharmaceutical company gets kidnapped by Jesse Plemons' character because they think she's an alien. Yeah. And so just I think it's a great premise. The idea, it gives us a great platform to explore an interesting, film about, corporations ruining everything. I got a lot of those on this list. Movies about, but I think specifically like humanity just destroying the world essentially. And, whether or not corporations are responsible or humans are responsible, it uses this as an interesting vessel to explore those ideas. And I think you've got, Emma Stone, who plays the executive, is, coming from a capitalistic perspective on that. And then you have Jesse Plemons coming from a conspiracy filled approach. But then you've got this bonkers premise that I think Yorgos fits right into. It's got my favorite moment of the year, which I've already talked to you about, but when she's giving her monologue at the end, when she kind of takes over power, and there's a moment where he almost steps over Don, and she goes, "Oh, watch your step," like in the middle of the monologue. And I think it's just the funniest thing. I was watching an interview, or Nathan Fielder actually hosted a panel, and he had worked with Emma Stone previously, which is I assume how this happened. I don't know why they would ever let him do that unless there was some kind of connection. But he hosted a panel with Yorgos and Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons, and I think the writer as well, just a screening of it. And he was talking about how like the ending of the film, which kind of cuts to, there's a shot of the bees that Teddy has on his property, and then it cuts to black on like the sound of nature like coming back to life now that humanity is gone. And I think it's just a really interesting that piece of also satire, but just this thesis that the film gives us. I think that's just a really, really unique way to portray that concept. That maybe we're not good for the world. Maybe it's, but yeah, it's just a really great. I mean, I think it's probably Yorgos's most accessible film. I
agree 100%.
And just another great film from him. I think he's taken a little bit of a break. But he's given us like 6. I mean, him and like Denis Villeneuve, just banger after banger. Bugonia is just another one of those. And then number 5 for me was Bring Her Back. So I guess you can do.
Yeah,
I don't know what number we're on, but the next 2 on your list.
Not 5. 5 is the number 1. I mean, so I put Caught Stealing as number 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Aronofsky, right?
Darren Aronofsky. And talking about accessible films, I think out of every single Aronofsky film, this is the most accessible. And it's also, believe it or not, my favorite of all his films. And he's done some great films. But yeah, I think this was, like you said, a breath of fresh air. I think going back to the late 90s New York City, it's just, I mean, if as everybody knows, if you remember, my favorite genre of film is New York film, and then second would be 70s film. But this film is just such a great New York film because New York is the background character. And, another great, like, I love movies that go to every borough, and this movie's in Brooklyn, this movie's in Queens, it's in Manhattan, and it's just such an amazing film. And like I said, what's his name? Austin Butler. I mean, I think this is his best role. I mean, granted, he's good in Elvis, but I just love Austin Butler in this. He's in Dune, but again,
he's like, great. He's been doing great stuff. So,
So, and basically the premise is, this young guy, he's a bartender in New York. He's had a tragic past. He has a girlfriend who they're not tying each other down. They sleep with each other, but it's not like, and his next door neighbor, Cockney British punk, played by David Tennant, who's amazing in it too, ask him to watch his apartment while he goes to see his dad, who's passing away in England. And Austin Butler gets caught up in this like deal gone wrong, drug deal gone wrong, but it's just so fast paced and it's so well written and it's so fun and there's so many moments that you don't even expect is going to happen. It's like, and I don't want to give it away because you've seen it. You said.
I haven't, no, but I do have it on Plex, so at some point I'll watch it. It kind of looks like something Guy Ritchie would do. It's like Aronofsky kind of channeling Guy Ritchie. Just crime thriller comedy. It looks kind of like I don't know. It just looks like a fast paced kind of fun movie.
And it's it's funny that you mentioned Guy Ritchie because you're right. There are some, but it's subtle Guy Ritchie. It's what Guy Ritchie should be doing, not what he does.
I just mean like old school Guy Ritchie, Snatch or Lock, Stock.
Snatch,
these just kind of propulsive comedic crime thrillers. It looks like it's at least in that vein. I'm not saying it, but it's set in New York, obviously. So very different.
And it's just a well written script. Like everyone's got a nice piece of the action. Butler obviously is the star, but like I said, David Tennant shines. Zoe, oh my God, Kravitz is also amazing in the film. Of course, D'Onofrio and Schreiber. They're so good. Yeah, it's like everyone has a great chunk that they when their script comes, their part comes up, you're like, oh shit, that was really cool. So I just love Caught Stealing, and I would have put it higher, but there are other films I like more. But
there's a lot of good stuff this year.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that was your 5.
And you said your 5, so I should jump to 4 then,
1, 2, 3, 4. God, this is so annoying. I don't have these numbers here. Why don't you do your
4?
1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, you do your 4, and then I'll do my 4.
Now this one's gonna be divisive. Everyone's gonna say, "What?" Even my best friend here, Jeremy, Song Sung Blue.
Oh, I forgot that just came out.
It just came out.
I think it already flopped.
It already is out of theaters. But it got nominated with Kate Hudson. She didn't unfortunately get anything. But it was. I mean, I didn't think it. Again, this is a movie that when I saw the trailer, I said, oh, I always say, Ron, see this trailer if you want to see it. I was kind of excited, and then because I saw it in October, and then I forgot all about it. And when we were listing the movies, we went to see a couple last weekend actually. She was like, "Oh, let's see Song Sung Blue," and I was like, "Oh, it's 2 hours." But let me tell you something. No, but I mean, it's like
I understand the thought process.
I listen. You know me. I'll see a movie 4 hours if as long as it's good. We saw the Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair. But I mean, it was like a movie about a Neil Diamond impersonator. But let me tell you something, man. Like besides the performances, the story is so amazing. It's based on a true story. Hugh Jackman plays a real character. Forget his Mike Scardino. He's a Neil Diamond impersonator, and he ends up meeting Kate Hudson, Claire, and they end up falling. She's a Patsy Cline impersonator. They end up falling in love, and he has a vision to create a band, but it's like the Neil Diamond experience, and she joins in, and he becomes part of her family. She has an older daughter and a younger son, and he has like members of his band. And it's just like again, it's a true story that, you watch and you're like, oh my God, like there's moments where, it's going and, it's more like kind of like Eternity where there's a love story, but it's a true story. So when tragedy strikes, it's like the movie becomes so dark and emotional, I don't, like I said, I don't like giving away spoilers, but something happens to Kate Hudson and, like Mike has to, Hugh Jackman's character has to like take care of her and her family, well, his family now, and, keep money on the table. And so you get that whole drama thing. But, there's like an underlying story where his health isn't that good, but he doesn't tell anyone about it. Only the older daughter knows. But it's just like, we watched this movie, we were riveted by the story. And again, and of course, I'm a Neil Diamond fan. There's a lot of great music, but they play other songs too. There's like he comes from like this like traveling impersonator. So there's other actors, Michael Imperioli playing a Buddy Holly impersonator. But it was just so, I mean, the performances were amazing. The story is riveting for a true story. Whereas Roofman is based on a true story and it's also engaging. But it's more of like, it's fun, it's engaging, and you're like, you want to see what happens at the end. But this one is just so dramatic, so powerful, and it's like the theme of how love can keep together a family that's falling apart. It was just emotional, and it took me by surprise. I didn't even expect to like this movie, and it was just so good. And I mean, like you said, it's like it's failing in theaters and everything, but I was just so surprised. It came
out a weird time of year, though. I mean,
it's like
around Christmas, and there was other stuff out.
It's like, why release it as a Christmas movie? They should have done it in November and let it build. But literally, like you said, like I think now it's going to streaming. I heard like next weekend or something. It's going to streaming.
I mean, it looks expensive too. I don't even think it's going to make its money. I mean, it might not make its money back at all.
How much money did they pay him? And then he's such a big actor, and then her, she's a mid act, but they do their own songs, and they're both singers.
Yeah, and it looks like a spectacle too. I mean, it looks expensive. So
definitely, yes. So, but I mean, like I said, one day you'll catch it on cable and you'll be like, oh, I see what he was saying. But I mean, it's just like it's something I never expected to enjoy or be into, and it just took me by surprise. So that's my number 4. What's yours?
Nice. Mine is Marty Supreme, which is
I want to see it.
That's definitely making a big splash right now. The latest from Josh Safdie of the Safdie brothers fame. Latest, I think was Uncut Gems the last one that they did prior to this.
Uncut Gems,
they split.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
there's a whole debate about which one's better. I'm like, this is dumb. Who cares about this comparison?
It's stupid. Yeah.
And I feel like they're like, I mean, he went and did The Curse. Benny Safdie did The Curse, which I think is phenomenal. I think that show's great.
No, I know you love that show.
I haven't seen his movie this year, Smashing Machine, but anyway, it's a dumb comparison. But Josh Safdie made this somewhat fictionalized version of a real ping pong player. Timothy Chalamet plays Marty. who lives in New York, has just almost bordering on delusional dreams of being the best. Well, I mean, he was and is at least the real life person, one of the better ping pong players in the world. Goes off to compete in a time where ping pong was not. I mean, I don't even know if it's still like. I don't know if to this day it's like a televised event even. Back in the day, it was a growing sport, but so he's going off to fulfill this dream of his of becoming, one of the world's best athletes in a sport that's barely made it off the ground even today. And runs into like Gwyneth Paltrow, who plays an actress that has kind of gone on, taken a break from acting, with her husband, played by Kevin O'Leary. I assume these are based on real people, but they get kind of caught up. Timothée Chalamet's character gets caught up in their story throughout his travels overseas. But essentially, the movie is really about his commitment to his, somewhat lover, and they're not quite like dating or anything, but Rachel, played by Odessa Azion. I don't know how to pronounce that name, but she essentially is hanging out in New York while all this is happening, and he's just refusing to commit to her in pursuit of his own kind of selfish desires. And I think the movie is really more about just becoming like just the fear of becoming a father and settling down and just becoming an adult and like, just becoming like a functioning adult that can pay bills. And, but he's this hustler. He just is this huge personality. I don't know how accurate that is to the real person. But just kind of nonstop. He's a big bag of charisma, but he's also just completely full of shit. And I think that just like, really similar to Uncut Gems what's his name?
Adam Sandler's character.
Who's, just great also. But this is, Timothée Chalamet is some of his best work for sure. And just a bolt of energy. This movie is, it just feels alive. I mean, I was watching an interview with Josh Safdie where he was talking about the casting of all the background actors in the film and how he wanted like a specific like visual look to some of these people because he wants them to feel like people that live in New York City. And I feel like the movie just feels alive. Not only because of Timothée Chalamet's charm, but also just the presentation and the movie just feels lived in a way that kind of like what you're talking about with Caught Stealing. Like it just feels like an alive New York film. This I think hits those that mark at times, but it's also just a great sports film. And just really fun. So that one, I went and saw it like last week. So I hate putting it this high on my list, seeing it like a week ago. But it is just a really great time. So
I definitely want to see it. I mean, you're not the only one who recommended it, and I'm like, I definitely got to go check it out. But yeah, so number 3, and I know we're divisive on this one, but my number 3 is Sinners.
Okay. Ryan Coogler. It's a great movie. I really do think it's
I love the film, and I know you said the last act falls apart for you, but I mean, I just love it. I think but yeah. So Michael B. Jordan, amazing as twin brothers. What is it? Stack and Smoke. Yeah, right.
Smoke and Stack. Yeah, Smokestack.
Smoke and Stack. Yeah, Smoke and Stack.
Yeah, and twin brothers. They have a life of crime that they've left behind.
Yeah, and they're trying to start out by opening up a juke joint down south, and they bring their little cousin along because he's like a great musician, and I think that's what resonated. The whole fact that the music, pushes the film forward, and it's great soundtrack too. And of course, they in their adventure on their first night of this juke joint that they're succeeding in, a couple of vampires come to ruin the mood, and it's just like a great horror film, but not. It's more a movie about the South, about not racism, but kind of reverse racism when you think about it, even though the ending does have that plot. But it's about the music, and it's about, it's just so many
I think it's
things
about
to me.
appropriation of culture
Appropriation
more
of
so
culture.
than
Yeah, yeah, but
racism's there, but I
yeah,
would say
but
it's probably more so about
the
appropriation than it is
appropriation. Yeah,
specifically when it comes to music, and just the idea of like, you know, they're trying to build this like, and this is my favorite part of the film. I just think the dream of like
yeah.
building something of their own where they
Oh,
can
yeah,
share this thing, this
yeah.
music, you know, I think is like a really pivotal driving force for the
Driving
whole
force.
first
Yeah, the film. Yeah,
2 hours. I mean, it's so great. I think I
yeah,
really think the first 2 hours of this film is like 10 out of 10. And, you know,
yeah,
there's this great one shot in the barn where he starts to perform and you see the way that his
yeah.
music influences the music of the past and the
Cast.
future. And
Yeah,
I
it's a
just think
great
that's
scene.
magic. I mean,
Yeah,
and then the vampires show up and I think it just kind of loses its way thematically in that chunk of the film.
yeah,
I mean, I like the idea of these like of vampires coming to steal their, you know, and appropriate their culture. I love that
yeah,
concept. I
yeah,
think
and yeah, yeah.
for me, honestly, I think if you just blended the KKK section of this film with the if you honestly, if you made
Vampire.
the
Yeah,
two things synonymous, like if you were
yeah,
to get rid of, actually, he's a somebody I've worked with, the guy who plays the Klansman, the Grand Wizard or whatever.
yeah, yeah. At the
I've
end.
worked with him before a long time ago. He's a Houston guy. But if you were to, as much as it would be bad for him, if you were to get rid of his character and make Jack O'Connell like the head of the
The head of the
KKK,
clan. Yeah,
I
I see what
think
you're
you'd
saying.
have
Yeah,
just a more singular thematic force that would
yeah.
tie everything together a little. It almost feels like maybe there was some studio meddling that occurred in like
Maybe.
we got to have you know, I think the vampire stuff was there from the beginning,
Yeah, yeah.
but like I just the handling of the clan stuff mixed with the vampire stuff feels messy. And I can feel it every time I watch. I've seen it 4 or 5 times. I mean, I
Yeah,
think
me
this
too. I've
movie's
seen it
really
about four
good.
times. Yeah,
And every time I'm like the first 2 hours when they're in the car and he's playing
yeah.
and there's just like
Great
this
movie. Yeah,
liveliness to that film. It's so extraordinary. And then the vampires show up and we're like we're making piss jokes. Like there's just like the tone feels like a complete
no,
departure
I know
from
you said that you felt
established.
that the tone shifted so differently, but I mean, I don't know. I didn't feel that. I
It
mean, it
does
did.
not
Yeah.
fail though. I still think
No, no,
this
no.
movie
Yeah,
is
yeah.
great.
Uh-huh.
And of all the movies, that was probably for me the hardest one to exclude from the list.
Exclude. Yeah, yeah.
There's just others that I think accomplish what they're setting out to do better than that film. But there's the highs of that
Yeah.
film are certainly, I mean, it's undeniable. I mean, there's definitely,
Yeah.
and maybe it should be on my list, but I can make an 11th spot for it. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I think it's just there's so much that's so great about it, and I felt left cold by I don't know, just some of the vampire stuff. Like there's that scene that's like
Yeah.
supposed to be out of The Thing. That's kind of like
Yeah.
the Thing reference where and you're just like, this is all just like it's a whole sequence that's just for a bit, like where he's like, oh, he's like choking on something, or he's old. It's like such a bad scene. I don't know. Anyway, like again, the point being that the quality of the film, like the first half is like so extraordinary, and then there's like
Yeah.
there's just these like throwaway gags, and I don't know, it's just a strange blend of tone, if nothing else. I like the way
What's
it
your
ends
number
though.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah.
So
Okay.
anyway,
No, of course.
good
Yeah.
film, great film.
No,
I
no.
would
Yeah.
say
The
it's
ending,
still,
the coda ending. Yeah, yeah. I
I
agree
love
with
the aesthetic of it. The performances are phenomenal. It's
Yeah,
still
yeah.
really good, and I think there's a lot. I don't want to be down on it too much, but it's just
No, no. Yeah, yeah.
the
I know.
reason it's not on my list, if nothing
Yeah.
else. Weapons is my number 3, from Zach
Interesting.
Kreger.
That's my number
from,
2. So there we
from
go.
Barbarian. So
Yeah.
we're gonna start catching up here and get through the rest of these lists.
Well, since
We're
it's
going
my
pretty
number 2,
long.
we could just talk it out, and
Yeah.
then you can jump to your 2.
I mean, I think this is the second feature from Zach Kreger, who did Barbarian. It follows a cast of characters, but more specifically Julia Garner, who plays a teacher who one morning her entire class, except for one student, mysteriously disappears. And I like the whole setup of that. It's kind of like folklore almost.
Yeah.
It's like voiced over by a young girl in the town, and how like
never see, never meet. But
I
yeah.
really love the way that it opens. It's just a
Yeah, yeah.
phenomenal just way to present the
Yes.
whole concept of the film
Concept. Yeah.
and the montage of I don't know, and then it says like our story actually starts here,
Starts
and we go to like
here,
a
yeah.
PTA meeting where the parents are upset, including one parent, Josh Brolin, who plays one of the fathers of.
Yeah.
He's had a good year. Fathers of. He plays one of the fathers of one of the kids that went missing. And the film's kind of told in chapters, and we kind of jump around in sequence. But I think the design of it and the way it presents its story, I think, is its biggest strength. I mean, this is some just really superb stuff from Zach Cregger. I think not only on the surface is it just really fun. I mean, I just had a great time in the theater, but I really think there's something more than just a good, fun horror movie. I think it's like the film's construction and design and script are so well thought through and just executed. And
it kind of rises above horror. You know what I mean? And more of a thriller or suspense. And I think that's what I loved about it, you know?
But it's subversive and it plays with your expectations in a way that's not just fun, but masterful. I mean, it really, just the way that it presents, like every step of the way, you know exactly where all these characters are. He completely understands their motivation to the point where you could almost watch this film visually and understand everything you need to know about it without any kind of supplemental sound even. I mean, there's stretches of the film where there's no one talking, but you completely follow it every step of the way.
Exactly.
And that's a testament to a really good script and a really good director. And so as much as I think this film gets talked about as just a great, fun horror movie comedy, I think it's like the scale of it and the execution of some of its biggest moments and its quietest moments is just handled with such tact. I mean, it's really impressive. One moment in particular is the principal when that happens and it's shot from like afar and like through Josh Brolin's window. And you're like, it made me go, oh, fuck, like audibly in the theaters. It's just like, I did not expect for it to be presented that way. I don't know, man. It's just, it's brilliant. It's so good.
Yeah. And it's like you said, how it's broken up in chapters. And it's like, I don't want to say Tarantino-esque because Altman did the same thing, but we get, you know, like we'll see one person's story. And then when we see someone else's story, the stories intertwine, but you get a little bit more from that. And it's just so amazing how you see how the story plays out that way, you know, from the cop boyfriend and how that connects with the young junkie, but also her story, how it connects with Josh Brolin's story. And it's just,
I think the junkie is also just great. I don't know his name. He's so good at that scene where he's like opening car doors while talking on the phone. It's just brilliant. It's so good.
I'm gonna start my job tomorrow. He's trying to steal shit to cop a score. You know, it just
I mean, he's amazing, a breath of fresh air. I don't know. I hope to see more from that guy, but that's a perfect part of the movie in terms of like the visual concept, where like every step of the way you understand what his goal is. Like he climbs through the window and you see him grab a pillowcase, and you're like, what's he going to use that for? And then he starts stuffing things into it. And you're like, okay, we're with him. Like, but it doesn't have. It gives us the respect as an audience that we deserve, that we can follow the shit without being just force fed, even in its central concept. Like we don't get over explained what is happening behind the scenes. We understand and we feel it, but we don't need for it to be literally spoon fed, for lack of a better pun, to us, you know. And and it's gnarly and it's just a great time. Yeah, really. I mean, it could easily be number one on my list. I mean, this is just such a knockout. I've seen it 6 times.
Up until I saw the other movie, but I've seen it like 3 times. Yeah. Well, do your number 2 because that was my number 2.
My number 2 is Eddington, which is
I was going to watch it the other night so I could catch up to you, but
have you not seen it?
No, I was going to watch it the other night, and then something happened, and we ended up not seeing it.
I'll have to have you over. We should watch it here. That's what we should. Definitely. We should have. We should do a movie night.
That'd be rocking.
I've also seen this like 6 times. It's from Ari Aster, Hereditary, Midsummer, Beau's Afraid. Beau's Afraid is still my favorite of the bunch.
I love.
I'm definitely in the minority on that.
No, I love it too, bro. I loved it.
I think Beau's Afraid is going to be hailed as the masterpiece that I believe
Agreed.
It is.
Later on,
10 years.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the funniest films I've ever seen. It's just epic. It's weird
and dark,
surreal. It's a masterpiece. I think it was my favorite of the year. I'm always interested in what he's got going on, and I feel like Ari Aster is making movies specifically for me. I mean, anyway. I mean, if nothing else, they just speak directly to my sense of humor, and that's something that
I like that. That's me too. That's how I feel.
Eddington is, set during COVID, and it's in a small town in New Mexico. You've got Joe Cross is the character played by Joaquin Phoenix. He's the town sheriff. At the beginning of the film, he's definitely like your traditional. He's at least cosplaying as like a small town sheriff that you'd see in a Western film. He's just almost a caricature of a small town sheriff, and he decides to run for office during COVID and oppose the current mayor, played by Pedro Pascal. Because you essentially get this standoff in a small town, which it's like watching it's like 2 hours of just communication breakdown. It's the best way to describe the film. It's the main thesis of the movie is just like the polarization and the communication that breakdown of COVID was entirely driven by the internet, because at that point in time you couldn't see people in person, and I think the film captures that component really well. And every piece of motivation for every character, especially like significant plot developments, all started from something somebody saw on the internet in some capacity. And I think the film's very much about the way that the discourse occurred during COVID. And it has a lot of fun with that idea. I mean, there's just sequences where people are just yelling at one another and nobody's listening to anybody. And it's some of the funniest stuff that I've seen on screen. It's also a really great Western. Just dives into the moral gray space that some, darker Westerns do, with great visuals and just a great piece of scenery in this small town where it was filmed. I can't talk. There's some specific moments that I think are just hysterical, that are just like stupid gags that feel like they're played straight. But if you I was going to share a few of those, but if you haven't seen it, I'll spare it.
Don't spoil it. I won't see it.
I do think Eddington feels like a little bit of a show of restraint for Ari Aster. Like, he made Beau's Afraid, which was a $35 million flop, and they were like, dude, you got to rein it in.
Right.
I think this is one of his more accessible films overall. It's still like conspiracy fueled, which is a big component of the film. And I think you've got these just really big leaps of, there's some things later in the film that I think are like, they could certainly lose some people, just conceptually, but I think overall it's his most straightforward narrative.
Okay.
And while it doesn't reach the highs of Beau's Afraid, it's just consistently entertaining and stunning. And just, I keep coming back to it and being reminded of how just fun it is. And it does get some criticism for poking fun at both sides. Which, without getting into the politics of it, and you haven't seen it, so we can't really talk about the specifics of it. I do think one side is certainly favored. Okay. In terms of like one side is portrayed as annoying, the other portrayed as murderers. There's they're not being portrayed equally. Really break it down, but there has been some criticism about that, which I think is just goofy. It's just real fun, and I think you'll really like it. I'd love to see it with you if we get a chance.
Definitely. Now I want to see it with you, bro. I got to see this movie.
But anyway, that was my number 2. So
I think we have both have the same number 1.
Is it One Battle After Another? All right. Yeah. We're on the same page. When did you see this movie? I'm trying to think, because I think we talked about it on Facebook. In
September. Yeah, we remember I wrote a review in September. That's and you wrote a review, and we went back and forth. But I think this is the best film of the year. No, hands down. Yeah.
So give us a little intro.
And it's hard to pinpoint the film, but basically Leo DiCaprio and Triana Taylor are young revolutionaries.
The French 75.
French 75, and they're fighting against the evil corporations. Right? And I get it. And they end up are on the lam from, they go to a place, and Sean Penn's Lockjaw, Colonel Lockjaw, right?
Captain Colonel Lockjaw.
Captain Colonel Lockjaw. And
the best character in cinema.
Oh my God. Sean Penn. Anyway. And Triana Taylor kind of emasculates him in her encounter with him, and it just goes from there. He actually kind of falls in love with her, digs her, and he's on the hunt for both of them, but more her. And it just goes from there.
We have a little bit of a time gap or time
jump.
Yeah,
there's a time jump, and Leo now,
hiding.
Yeah.
He's kind of a burned out stoner dad.
With a young daughter who's very smart. And what's his name? Lockjaw ends up catching up with them, and he ends up trying to find I forget the daughter's name.
Willa.
But there's a reason why. We find out that
he's
a subplot of
and the whole motivation for it is
the
dumbest thing.
It's right. Because he's joining this secret cabal society of
the Christmas Adventurers. Which, if you break down the acronym, is COCK, which is so funny. I mean, I love this movie so much.
It's amazing. Everybody's.
I'm glad Triana from here. Let's just get into that just right off the bat.
But Triana Taylor is amazing. I'm glad she won the award.
Leaps off the screen. I mean, I think you feel her loss in the film. When that jump in time occurs, and I just think she's a firecracker for that first 30 minutes or whatever. I mean, it's just, I think that first chunk, that prologue is just it's electric, man. It feels like heat. It feels like, I mean, seriously, the whole chase sequence in the bank and in the,
oh my God, that's amazing.
The streets is just spectacular. I think this movie, it would play, it's because it's kind of a stoner comedy. It's a spy movie. It's a political thriller. It's all of these things. It dives into a Western action film in the later portion of it. You kind of progress from these they're in hiding in these forested areas of his town, and then by the end of the film you move into these more revealing landscapes, and there's an interesting trajectory in regards to being discovered, and visually we kind of move through the film and the landscape changes with the characters and the narrative. I love that. But I think this would play a straight spy movie if no one ever spoke. Every word that comes, because if you just conceptually, if you broke down this movie, just in terms of what it is, what is actually happening, it's something. It's a more traditional film, but every time a character speaks, it's the goofiest. It's goofball land, man. Colonel Lockjaw is the dumbest name.
Oh my God,
character.
I'm how did he not get nominated for anything? I don't understand.
I mean,
I don't understand.
He's menacing and hilarious. There's this idea that he walks with a limp because she stuck a pistol up his ass. Which is the funniest. I mean, that's the funniest gag of the year.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's and the idea, and I think the core of this movie, the thing that I think makes it just a great piece of satire is that all of this destruction and this upheaval of this small town where they live in is all in service of him joining a club called the Christmas Adventures. I mean, it's the dumbest concept, but it's so brilliant, though. I mean, it is. And I think a lot of people, I mean, it's obviously just a fun, thrilling movie. And I think, it gets some criticism for not having the emotional depth of some of PTA's other films. And I get it but I think once you know kind of what it is and what you're in for, I think revisiting it, you'll see that there is at least enough emotional depth to drive this narrative. There's also some criticism that Leo's character doesn't do anything, which I think is false. He doesn't for the first 2 hours, which is a hilarious concept. But ultimately, you've got this character, Willa, his daughter, doesn't really respect her father for maybe understandable reasons at the beginning of the film. He's a little overbearing. And then you have this nice little arc that occurs where she realizes that her mother was not the woman that she thought she was, and that she kind of betrayed both her and everyone else, to save her own ass. And, ultimately that was kind of this person that she looked up to and held as this beacon of, promise for her. And then is found that that's not the case. And then you've got her actual father, who is literally leaving her to die to join his little club.
His club,
And there's that great line, as much as Sean Penn's character is just a complete farce, there's that great line where he's like, I have a higher purpose, and that purpose is so much it's so much better than being your dad or whatever he says. But there's this like, she's just rejected by this man that she's never even met, for just the dumbest reason. But still, ultimately, it's like everyone around her is, like has left her and abandoned her. And Leo's the only one that shows up.
Yeah.
Ultimately, there's a line earlier in the film where she calls him Bob instead of Dad, and I think he is like, tell me you love me or whatever is the line before she leaves and stuff. And there's clearly, he does so much for her, but that she doesn't really recognize. And I think in the end, he's the one that shows up. He's the one that is there, and as dumb as like his pursuit of trying to play catch up in this film is. I think there's some emotional depth there. It's a goofy movie, but of course,
I agree.
I don't know. One of my favorite things about it too is the code speak that occurs throughout all the different factions in the film. Obviously, the French 75 has their own way of, communicating, and you have the military has their own way of communicating, and even like the French 75 Billy Goat character is like running like a sanctuary city.
Yeah.
He's like running a broadcast, and he has like a specific way that he speaks to whoever's listening. And, then you've got Benicio del Toro's character, and it's in Spanish, but there's still like these terminologies that they're using with the children to try and communicate, and accomplish the task of making them safe. And you have the nuns who have their own way of speaking. You have the Christmas Adventurers have like the Hail Satan thing, or Hail Satanic is so funny. But I like the idea though that like you see, as goofy as some of them are, that concept occasionally is. It's like just many different factions and the way they communicate with one another, and it just gets it's a fun little glimpse into these worlds, and makes them feel lived in and just leap off the screen at times. I don't know.
And I'm glad it won the screenplay at the Golden Globes too, which I hope it gets nominated screenplay for the Oscar as well.
I think amazing. It will. And this one right off the bat, I think got just kind of unanimous praise. I think if anything, the people that are really not as big on it are just kind of like turning their nose up at the positivity surrounding the film. And I don't know. I mean, it's, I don't know if this movie will work for everyone. I think critically it's done very well. I do think it's just a really good time, and it's weird, and it's fun, and it's hilarious, and it's often breathtaking. I really think there's just these moments of like, one in particular is during Benicio del Toro's section, the skateboard kids. There's like shots with those guys where they like,
that's
where
right.
The camera's like in the car, and we like drive up next to one of them, and then like he like turns and drives away, and you get these like just these long extended sequences that are just alive, man. It's like when they like put the skateboard down in the hallway and like drive there's just all these moments where I'm like, oh, this is so, it just feels alive, like and the score by Johnny Greenwood, which kind of just propels the whole thing. I don't know what else to say about it, but it's just a great piece of work, and I think it might be my favorite PTA film. Like I was going to
say, I think this is my favorite one so far as well. Yeah, it's above all the others that he's done. Yeah.
I mean, I think it has the most rewatchability, I would say. The emotional depth, like we were talking about, of some of his, something like Phantom Thread, but I mean, I think I've seen this thing like 6 times, which I mean, there's other movies of his that I haven't seen that many times. Yeah. And, I mean, it's been out a year. It's just awesome, man, and you feel like a revolutionary. There's like moments where,
right? Yeah,
like "Viva la Revolucion" in the hallway, and like you're just like, like it feels. I don't know. It amps me up. It's so good. Yeah.
It's like Rhonda. It's successful. Like Rhonda loved it too. It's like, you just feel that power too. So it's like.
And just, like when Leo whistles at the two guys, he does the whistle at the end, just like, oh, this is, man, it's just, there's so many moments in it that make me laugh. and but it's also just executed brilliantly and stunning to look at, and sounds great, looks great. It does all the things, but then it's just in service of this goofball plot. Yeah, I just haven't seen a movie like it, and I don't know. I mean, I forget who it was. I think it was Zach Kreger was talking about how like he watches that movie. And he's like, "What can PTA not do?" I mean, like he goes and makes like one of the best action films ever. You know, and it's like I just never would have guessed that from him. So, I don't know. Yeah, it's really good stuff. I'm glad that it was your number one. We actually
of course,
came to the same place.
Yeah.
So. Well, that concludes our list. For 2025, which ended up being a pretty solid year. I'm glad we're here to, I know this is a long one, but thanks for sticking around and doing this. I'm glad to be back. So I guess we can skip. We were going to do movies we look forward to.
Yeah,
maybe
like,
we just save that for next year.
We haven't done a show in almost 3 years, and look at that. We talked for 2 hours, right?
right back
like
on
it
our
never
bullshit.
happened, right? Yeah.
But I hope though this format will allow us to do this more often. So, but I guess with that we'll go ahead and wrap this up. But for those that do listen, thanks for listening, and we'll be back hopefully soon. Yeah. So I'm Carlos Hernandez. I'm Jeremy Knight. We'll see you on the next one. You guys take care.